All right, so today is February. Oh my God, what's today's date? February 8th? What is today's date? I don't even know. That's so funny. February 7th. There we go. February 7th, 2023. And today's topic is all about Neptune and Venus in Pisces. Just a little history behind both planets and that they're both in Pisces, which is not unusual. We have many other planets that are sharing the same zodiac sign. Reason why I brought this particular topic up on Facebook is due to the most recent weekend, which was this Friday. Venus rules Friday's energy. So when we think about every Friday, Venus's energy is there, and of course, because Venus's energy is there, my thought process, my analytical brain was there as well, and brought up the question on asking who was interested in learning about what Neptune and Venus means when it's in Pisces. So I'm going to break down just a little bit what each planet means, and then also break down what Pisces means, and then give you some insight to what it actually means based on your personal chart. Now, in today's session, I do have a live audience, so the information that I will be providing is based on the 1 or 2 people who will be joining me today. And of course, this would apply for anyone that would obviously have their same placements as well. And of course, for anyone who is watching this and you're interested in learning for yourself where Neptune and Venus is on your chart and what it actually means for you in the what we call the collective energy of Pisces, you're welcome to reach out to me, and I'll mention that email address towards the end of this video. So let's talk a little bit about Neptune's energy. Neptune is the planet of higher learning, and it's also about our daydreams and night dreams. What we learn during that, I like to believe that anytime we dream, especially when we remember our dreams, there's always a message there for us that brings clarity to something that we are asking. And maybe not even asking. Maybe we're not even aware of the information that shows up in a dream. But obviously you remember it for a reason. Otherwise, if you don't remember it, it's because there was no message behind it. The higher learning, when we speak of higher learning, it's about not necessarily traditional school learning, but it's more about the higher wisdom, thinking out of the box, so to speak, connecting with spirits, tapping into your, what I like to call psychic abilities, our gifts, and we all have them. However, we're not all attuned to them, which means that many may not realize that they have their psychic abilities. I'm just going to let the other participant in. I'm just going to give her instructions as she does come in. So just pausing for a moment. So when we think about the energy of Neptune and we think about the higher learning and connecting to our psychic abilities, whether you're aware that you have them or not, we all do have those gifts. One may sit back and ask, well, how do you activate your gifts, or how do you know you have gifts? I know that was one of the questions I asked myself about 11 years ago. And the answer to that question is, you start to notice things in a different way, where, for example, you may hear things and there may not be anybody around you. You may see shadows or lights. So that's a sense of activating your ability to see. You may feel as though someone's around you energetically. That's the sense of feeling. And then we have the sense of smell and then taste. And these are all as I like to call them, the spiritual gifts that most of us do have. And when we do have them and we decide to activate them, it helps us in our ability to learn from a higher level, not the traditional school aspect. It's also the wisdom that we gain during, as I mentioned, sleep and daytime dreaming. Now, when we think of Venus energy, Venus is our planet of love, relationship, and money. Now, when you take these two planets and you connect them to Pisces, Pisces is our zodiac sign that's associated with the 12th house. And it helps us to, again, tap into our psychic abilities. It helps us to tap into our dream state again. And it gives us the ability to become more aware of things we wish to tie up, like tie up loose ends, things that need to be finished at that point in time when we think about the Neptune and Venus energy. When we think about Pisces, it's about the energy of all 12 zodiac signs because it's the 12th house. So it carries all 12 energies. So if on your chart, you have Pisces in any of the planets, these two particular planets, such as Neptune and Venus, will get activated as well, in addition to the activation that they're going through right now in the collective energy. So if you happen to have your chart handy, just glance at it just for a moment, just to see if you do have Pisces on your chart in any other planet. And also look in your 12th house energy, because the 12th house, as mentioned, is associated with Pisces. All of those energies will be activated with the help of this Venus, Neptune in Pisces. Now, what I like to do is I like to take this a little more personal for each of you. So I have one chart here. And as I mentioned, those who are watching this video later, I do have two guests with me today that I will be chatting with. And they're just for now going to listen. And at the end of this, we are going to do a Q&A, which will not be recorded. So they'll get to ask questions at the end, and I'll be able to answer those questions for them. So when we think of the energy from Melissa, Neptune on your chart is in Sagittarius. Now, we already know what Neptune means. And just to review that, because of our little latecomer, Neptune is associated with our higher education, but not related to the traditional schooling, but more about our psychic abilities, our sleep, our day and sleep dreams that we have, and the ability of traveling from one place to the other in our dream state, but then also in the logical state of packing your bag and literally going someplace. That's that Neptune energy. But that's also similar to Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the exact same energy. So here we have Sagittarius, which is actually associated and ruled by the 9th house. So for Melissa here, we have, for her, it really is about her dream state, her higher learning, coming out of, as I like to call it, the ego, and moving into how can I view the different things that I'm experiencing in the now in a different way, rather than focusing on the logic, what I see in front of me. Because again, Pisces is utilizing your spiritual gifts, seeing beyond and seeing the lessons, because it's higher learning. Now for Melissa, the Neptune Sagittarius energy, personally speaking, is in your 6th house. What that means is 6th house is associated with nurturing, healing, scheduling time to sit quietly, as Pisces energy is all about the dream state. So scheduling time to sit quietly in meditation and connecting with yourself from a higher level. I believe when we meditate, we allow ourselves to give ourselves permission to ground our energy and shift into a higher vibration, higher frequency where we begin to connect with our higher self and higher power, where we gain the higher wisdom. So when we take this energy and combine it to the collective versus the personal, this is a great time to utilize meditation. And meditation does not have to be done in a city format. It could be done standing, it could be done walking, any which way as you connect to your higher self. And scheduling the time. Because I know, like me and like everybody else, we don't have time to do anything. We all have 24 hours and we have no time. So you have to schedule the time in onto your calendar to fit, whether it's 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, to receive this higher wisdom that your higher self so needs and wants to help you move into that space of connecting to your higher wisdom and your psychic abilities. Now, your Venus energy is in Virgo, which is interesting because Virgo is associated with the 6th house. So they're interconnected. And I just talked about the 6th house energy, which is Virgo, which is all about healing, nurturing, scheduling time, organizing your system, meaning your body, making sure you're moving your body. In regards to that Venus energy, it is about your relationship with your body as well as your relationship with others, and then money. The house it's associated with is the 3rd house. The 3rd house is about communication, learning, teaching, speaking, listening. So again, we're back to that listening to what our higher self has to offer in reference to the message that you are in deep desire of wanting to know something. There's something you need to know. And during meditation or during a walking meditation is the perfect time to gain this insight. The bottom line for Neptune and Venus in your personal chart is really about shifting your mindset, changing your philosophy about how you think, feel, speak, listen, and connect with yourself and others. And really becoming more attuned to how your body reacts when you may be experiencing stress, worry, or doubt. Because your body is a beautiful messenger, and your body will let you know when you're out of alignment. So I'm going to leave it there for Melissa, just for her to sort of take it all in. And I'm going to dive into Gail's chart. So Gail, I do have to say for you, as I was reading your chart, and I think it's the first time I've ever read your chart. I mean, I know it's the first time I'm meeting Melissa, but Gail and I go back some time now. And I was quite impressed with your chart. It's very interesting. I don't know if you've had your chart read before, but there's a lot of interesting things on your chart. But let's focus here on Neptune and Venus, because I can get carried away and go off on tangent somewhere, but let's stay focused. That's my goal today. So we speak of Neptune and Venus. On your personal chart, Neptune is in Scorpio. Now, you're very familiar with Scorpio's energy because, well, you have a lot of Scorpio in your chart. But because Melissa is new to all of this, I want to just give a breakdown to what Scorpio energy actually is. Scorpio is about our transformations, learning to let things go so we can make space for what's coming in. And they're constantly in that process, constantly working on letting things go so they can transform to bring in the new. Now, on your chart, Gail, the Neptune in Scorpio is in your 1st house. So this is all about really yourself, learning to let go of the old version of you, the old stories, the things that once upon a time, yes, were stories that you needed to share, needed to tell, needed to have it be part of who you are. But since the last 3 years, you have literally peeled layers and layers and layers of yourself that story no longer exists. And there's a whole new story to start telling. So that first house energy is all about self-expression and utilizing your higher wisdom that I can witness. I've witnessed it, that you've transformed in the last 3 years. And that's really time for you to utilize the skills that you do have, your gifts that you do have, and bring them to the table. And that's what this Neptune in Pisces is going to really help you activate during this time, is to bring your spiritual gifts to the table, to utilizing your spiritual gifts as, what I'm hearing is, your main income. That anything else that you're doing to bring financial income in, that's going to be the secondary process. Your primary is really your spiritual gifts. And this amazing energy of Neptune in Scorpio on you in the first house on your chart, that's a given. So if you're not using your spiritual gifts as widely as you can, this is the invitation to start doing so. With that being said, Venus on your personal chart is in Libra, which you know a lot about as well. Now, Libra is associated with balance, our contracts. Now, when we speak of contracts, it's our marital contracts, but again, traditionally and also non-traditional contracts in reference to our philosophies, habits, programmings, beliefs that we carry from generations to generations to generations. And it's also about justice for yourself. Now, your Venus Libra energy is in your 11th house, which is associated with your community. So when we think about that Venus Pisces and your personal energy, Venus Libra in the 11th house, this is about you connecting with your community to utilize your amazing gifts. Because Venus, again, that relationship we have with ourselves, with love and money. So this is really what your chart, just from these two planets, is really saying for you, is this is really your year to transform your financial income utilizing your psychic gifts. When I read your chart and saw these houses, I was like, wow, this is magnificent, powerful. First house, all about self, and that 11 is your community. So it's like that partnership between self and community, and you have the help of Neptune and Venus in Pisces energy, which is completely amazing. So at this point, what I'm going to do now, because I'm sure my two ladies here have some interesting questions that they would love to ask me, or at least comments that they would love to say, and I want to turn it over to them. But to do that, my question will be, and you can either give me thumbs up or write it in the chat if you want. Are both of you okay with me keeping this recording going and I would be sharing it, or do you want me to keep this confidential? Gail did a thumbs up. How about you, Melissa? Thumbs up? Okay, so I have their permission that I'm going to keep the recording going, and we are going to dive in. I'm going to have both of them unmute themselves.
Okay.
Perfect. And since I started with Melissa, let's start with Melissa in reference to, Melissa, do you have any questions regarding your charts and the information I just shared with you?
Okay, in the beginning, you were saying that most people have gifts and it's about tapping into them and finding out what they are. How would somebody do that? How would I know what my gifts are?
Well, a big part of that, as I mentioned, is sitting in meditation, sitting quietly. Meditation, at least from my point of view, is the key to activating your senses, allowing yourself to be still. And when I use the word still, I literally mean sitting quietly, or if you are going to do a walking meditation, where you are just strictly in the state of connection with your body, your mind, and your spirit. I like to, when I meditate, especially if I'm walking, I like to take off the earbuds and allow myself to connect. So however which way you feel more comfortable having that connection with your higher self.
Okay.
So, and little by little, becoming aware of the different things you may feel, the different things you might see, and perhaps also keeping a journal after you've done your meditation, jotting down whatever it is you experienced during that meditation. And little by little, especially with this help with Pisces and Neptune together, little by little, you will start to notice, if not one, multiple spiritual gifts showing up for you.
Mhm.
And then you'll be able to use those gifts for your highest good.
Okay.
Okay. Was that your only question you had regarding your chart?
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, basically what you said was that I have to learn how to sit still and, and communicate with my body. And and as hard as that can be for me, I've already known that and have been working on trying to do that.
Excellent. Yes, yes. And just making the connection with your body in general, as you have Venus and Virgo. Again, Venus is about our relationship with our body. Virgo is the same thing. Virgo is about that the connection with your body system and scheduling time to connect with your body and making it a daily habit, whether again you spend 10 minutes or you spend longer connecting with your body, becoming familiar with your chakra system, becoming familiar with your psychic abilities, becoming familiar with your higher thinking, and coming out of, as I like to call it, the analytical or the logical thinking. I always like to say, with Pisces energy and me having a Pisces sun energy, allowing yourself to see beyond what's in front of you. Because anything that's going on in our lives, there's always a reason why it's going on. Nothing ever is happening to us. Everything's always happening for us. And when we can move into that mindset of like, oh, what am I supposed to be learning from the experience that's happening right now? It shifts the whole mindset from the analytical and logical and ego. And it allows you to move into that sense of higher wisdom and to learn something from the experience. And the fun thing about it is once you do learn something from the experience, you move on from the experience. That's the fun thing about it, is as we learn, the experience no longer needs to be there because you've learned the lesson that the experience showed up for. But the longer we sit in that mindset of the ego, the logic, the analyzing it, the longer that lesson stays until it's like, ah, that's what I was supposed to learn from it. And you learn from it and see it in a whole different way. And then you become more empowered by the fact that you shifted your whole mindset into that higher learning versus, as humans do, analyzing everything and becoming a victim to whatever it is that's going on in your life at the time that's going on. Does that make sense for you?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense to me.
Awesome, awesome. And Gail, I know that you are very familiar with your chart. Any questions or comments that you have?
Yeah, actually, it's first of all, what do you see as my spiritual gifts? Because, as you can probably tell, I'm kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. And my biggest difficulty in this life is choosing something and going with that and not going, oh, squirrel, let's go try this because it's novel and it's new. And once I get that a handle on that, well, then I'm bored and I've got to go find something else to interest me.
Yes,
So
it's interesting you use that example. I had set in today on a workshop as a participant, not a presenter, and somebody else used the same analogy in regards to we're all interested in what it is at the very beginning when it's all fresh and new. But then when it's no longer fresh and new, all of a sudden our attention span comes off of that and we're ready for the next thing. Now, the beauty about our spiritual gifts, I truly believe you don't have to choose just one. You can utilize all your spiritual gifts. And because you may have that, what I'm hearing is a very short attention span. Meditation, grounding is extremely important for you. And because, again, your Venus energy is Libra, but so is your sun's energy is Libra, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So with that, it's about bringing more balance into your energy field so you can be more focused and not so distracted on, oh, what's the next thing I'm supposed to be doing? And allow yourself to be in that space of what your spiritual gifts are. Now, to answer your question, what do I feel your spiritual gifts are? You're well-rounded. You have the ability, connection with spirit, connection to intuitively connect with readings. You have the ability, I do believe you have the ability to read people's energies as well. So theoretically, you have all gifts and you can utilize them all. And I know that you have this amazing gift of reading cards and utilizing that as well, because when we read cards, we activate our ability of our intuition and allowing ourselves to be in that higher learning and not necessarily about what does it mean logically. You go beyond the logic. You go into what the card is and gives that insight based on what you're feeling intuitively.
Yeah.
So
That
I
is
do
exactly
believe
what I
you
do
have.
when I read the cards. Yeah.
Yes. And I do believe you are gifted with all the spiritual senses, from seeing to feeling to hearing to sensing to tasting to smelling, for that matter. And the most important psychic gift is the knowing. The
Mhm.
knowing things without knowing how the hell we know things. You know, where we wake up one morning and all of a sudden it's like how on earth do I know all this information? Because you just know, because at nighttime when you went to sleep, you were open to
Mhm.
receiving all these amazing downloads, and now you have all this information to utilize in your waking world. So you are definitely gifted, and you don't have to decide on, which gift should I use? Use them all. Use every one of them and ground your energy so you can do that. So you can be completely focused and aligning to these amazing gifts. And letting go, as that Neptune energy, letting go of whatever energies that you might be working with on the logical aspect, letting that go because it no longer serves you, and really allowing yourself. And it's so funny, I'm hearing this, and you're gonna know why it's funny. Allow yourself to be that woo-woo.
Mhm. Yeah.
Allow yourself to be that, and let go of what you think people are gonna think about you if you 100% transparently be the, and I'm gonna say this with love, be the witch you're supposed to be. And step into that. Allow yourself, your whole being, to be that energy. And this Neptune in Pisces is going to help you with that, along with the Venus in Pisces, because it's that connection of truly loving who you are and no longer having to put a mask on to pretend to be something so other people can love who you are. You don't need to do that. Love you exactly who you are on a soul's level, and the right people that's supposed to be in your energy field will come. And the ones who are only there because you put a mask on will flow away. And that's what we want anyway. We don't want people in our journey, in our path, that are only there because they see us in a certain way and it pleases them. When we are transparent, it allows us to freely be who we are. And that allows us to be light enough to do what we came here to do. Step into your worldly gifts that you do have as a psychic, as a medium, as the woo-woo that you are, and utilize this amazing energy to do just that.
Cool. All right. That does answer my question. Because you know what, you can't, at least for me, I can't not bring 100% of my gifts to the table. But what I was trying to get at is when you're going out there to market your services, to change your financial world based on the spiritual gifts that you have, right? You can't sell the whole basket. You got to sell, the theme of the basket, if you will,
Yes.
So, but
Yes.
you answered that in the cards. I mean, and I've never seen myself as a tarot reader, but it is something that I keep getting drawn into, developing the skills, and getting better and better. And it's interesting because that's where my sister, let's talk. You need to hear this, and no one else is got the balls to tell you this, but this is what you need to get, that, and not a harsh or a hard aspect, but sometimes the most loving answer is no.
Exactly. And it's the most honest one. We don't have to beat around the bush. We could just flat out, it's 2 letters, very powerful, empowering when it's said. And sometimes the person receiving it gets a little overwhelmed by it because they've never heard it. So it's like, what do you mean by no? And I think that's just a knee-jerk reaction when people say that. They know what no means. It's just that because, again, logically and egotistically, they were not prepared for someone to say just flat out no. They were prepared for some sort of excuse or some sort of reasoning to whatever it is, as opposed, well, it's just no. So it's a powerful no, and as on your chart, with the help of Neptune and Venus, and that energy, because both of them together in Pisces is really about helping all of us let go of the mindset of thinking that we need another way to bring an income in other than the way that we actually know. And I know that's challenging for many who are healers, who are readers, who are psychics, where we tend to think, well, I need to have a little side gig so I can survive. But we don't really need to have that. And that's what Neptune and Venus and Pisces is reminding us, is that it's time. This is the time now to really step into that higher learning and releasing, or in Scorpio's energy, letting go the old mindset of, I can only make money this way. And we don't need that anymore. We can make money with our spiritual gifts, with that ability, and allowing yourself to know and embrace that, because the more you embrace knowing that whatever number of card readings you may have to do to maintain that income you're looking to maintain, you set the intention to that number. You set the intention to what your pricing is for that card reading. And then you set the intention to, this is my income. And then you be completely aligned with it. And then you'll see how all of a sudden things are going to work to your higher advantage, because you are now aligning with what you have to actually bring an income in. But it's all about alignment. It's all about trusting. It's all about that process of, every one of us were born with a specific, as I like to call it, spiritual gift, a soul's contract that we all have, that allows us to have the abundance that we deserve. However, not all of us are open to receiving, based on our stories and past history that we carry, that we have to start clearing that energy out, so we can be aligned to this powerful energy of Neptune and Venus in Pisces. I mean, I would say out of all the planets that are working together for us, Neptune and Venus and Pisces, it's such a magical time, because it really is going to help every one of us raise our vibration, raise our thinking, shift our thinking from how we feel we're supposed to make money. Because Venus is about money, Neptune is that higher learning, higher way of doing things. Pisces is about our psychic abilities, who we are, our intuitive being that we are. So bring those 3 together, and magic really begins to happen, as long as we step out of our way and allow it to happen. So it's a very powerful time. And also noting that I want to just take a peek to see when the actual date is. Venus will only be in Pisces for a little while longer. So we don't have much more time to embrace this powerful energy. Let me give you the exact date to when this shift is going to happen, where Venus is going to move into Aries. And then that's a whole different energy, but it's just as powerful. Let's see, Venus. Oh, sugar, really? Today's the 7th, we said, yes. We have until February 20th. So what is that? Just about a week and a half?
Yeah, about 13 days.
Yeah. So, what a lucky number. So yeah, so 13 days left where Venus is in that Pisces energy. Neptune will stay in Pisces for a little while longer. I believe Neptune is going to be within Pisces right to June 30th. So we have a little bit longer with that energy. So soak up this magic between Neptune and Venus in Pisces. And we can always get back together after February 20th and talk about the energy of Venus in Aries, because that's a whole different energy and it's going to bring a whole different cycle of things to come in. So if I've answered both your questions, and if any of you have comments that you like to leave here.
Actually, I would love to have a conversation with you about what you see when you see my chart, because especially considering I have a Libra sun, I'm all about balance. My chart is entirely lopsided, all on one side of the circle. And I would love to hear your perspective of what that actually means.
Well, in theory, and I don't want to take the hot seat away from you, but most people's charts are usually lopsided. Most people, like in my chart, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 pies, shall we call them, that are completely empty from what we can see. And I say it that way because if you actually do look at your chart, you look at the areas of each spot that has no planets in it or no signs that we can see.
Empty houses.
Say that again.
Empty houses.
Yes, but it has energy from the house, and then it also has energy from the actual sign that it sits in. So there's a lot of energy in that chart itself. And I would love one-on-one to have a conversation with you about it.
Yes.
This way here, we can get a little more in depth to what that means for you, because it is interesting, and you'll learn a lot from what we can't see.
Yeah.
In fact, I just examined that on my own chart from a class I was just in the process of teaching, because someone else posed the same question, and realizing that even though there's nothing there, there's a lot there just from the house itself and the actual zodiac sign that sits within that pie. But that's a good question, and I would love to take a peek. But you do have an interesting chart.
Thank you.
Yes, you definitely do. Yes. Melissa, any other comments or questions from you, my dear?
No.
All right, excellent. So I will upload this recording. I will send it out to the two of you. This will obviously this will also be available to others, so others can view this information, and hopefully will make them curious enough to know what this energy is helping them with as well. And just continue to stay connected with me on Facebook and see how we all grow together with this amazing Neptune Venus in Pisces.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joanne.
Thank you. Let me just take the recording off. And just in case, because I never mentioned it, for those who are watching this video at a different time, just a quick introduction to who I am very quickly. I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, many gifts, and also the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast deck. Should you have any questions that came up for you regarding where Neptune and Venus is on your chart associated with Pisces, feel free to send me an email, and that email is healingwithin76@gmail.com. For additional services, you're welcome to go check out my website, which is holistic with a W, fitnessny.com. Thank you again, ladies, for being here with me, spending your Tuesday night here. Till next time, everyone, have an amazing, amazing energy with Neptune and Venus in Pisces.